filmed this intro literally like 10 times. So I'm just gonna give it to you guys straight. This week is a week of reset for me. This week is a week of reset and entering into old, new habits after this really long stretch of a few months. So what I decided this week was that I was going to read authors that were also new to me to like fuel the whole new routine thing while going back to the gym, getting back in my deficit, instead of just feeling comfy in the authors that I'm used to reading, to help me get out of the comfiness of the new bad habits that I did pick up. I don't know if any of this is making sense to you guys, but in my mind, I feel like I'm doing something here. So let's get into the books that I have planned to read for the week. Here's my stack here. And the first book that I'm going to be reading is going to be Curvy Girl Summer by Danielle Brown. I have been meaning to read this since it came out, which I believe was last year, and I never got around to reading it. And I did start it this morning at the gym, and let me tell you, the very beginning of this book, it's very catchy. It's very catchy. We are walking directly into a spice scene. I'm just gonna say that. I'm gonna throw that out there just in case that's not your thing. But yes, that woke me up. I'm coming out of a reading slump and I was like, oh, this is perfect. This is gonna keep me out of the reading slump. It grabbed my attention right away. Not gonna hold you. So Danielle Brown is the first author that we're gonna start reading. Then I plan on reading Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. The thing here is that I do believe this is book 2 in a series. Do I need to read book 1 in order to read this one though? Like, I'm not quite sure, but like I said in a previous video, like everyone at the book club, book retreat, there were so many people who had this book. And I just went to a book swap the other night and like it was at the book swap. Like, so it's everywhere around me. I'm going to read Ali Hazelwood for the very first time. And it's an age gap romance, which isn't really my favorite, but I'm pushing myself to do something new. You get what I'm saying? See where I'm going with that? Next is I plan on finally reading All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. It's not Crosby. Why do I keep calling him Crosby? It's Cosby. I do plan on reading this time. I really need to add some like thrillers, mysteries into my repertoire, because going straight romance for romance lately has been really odd for me because I never really do that. So I'm adding this in. And then last but not least, I am going to attempt to reread Brooklyn. I have never read anything by Tracy Brown, and when I was on my flight, it just for some reason wasn't clicking. And like I said, it wasn't her writing, it was me. These are the 4 books that I have here that I will be reading throughout the week. I don't know if I'll be able to get through every single one of them. That's not my intention, but if I do, that's great too. So if you guys are interested in finding out how I feel about some of these new to me, old to you authors, go ahead and continue following along. I cannot make this up, but it's literally been an entire 7 days since I updated this vlog. I did finish Curvy Girl Summer, but I did not film any of it, didn't talk about it. I didn't even talk about it on my Instagram. So real quick, if you're not following me on Instagram, which I'll put my name right here and it's also in the description down below, I talked about just needing kind of like a mental, spiritual, and physical reset. And it just so happened to coincide when I started filming this video. And I always like to be realistic and like express like what's going on in real life. And I know I could make this channel like super episode-y and just completely focused, but I like to express what it's like being me. Like, I am a mom of 6 kids. I homeschool those kids. My mother-in-law just passed away. I live 3,000 miles away from my entire family, and sometimes it can be really, really rough. So over the course of the past, I want to say like 4 months, I like gained 10 pounds back after I was supposed to be in a caloric deficit, and I just been really depressed and having a lot of anxiety. So I just needed to take some time off from social media, like creating content, creating YouTube videos, and that's what I did. Let's get back into the book. Curvy Girl Summer. This features Leah and Ahmad, are two characters who basically become sort of like strangers to friends to lovers type story, and this book was so good. And you know what, I thought this book was gonna be like ultra spicy, and not that the spice scenes weren't spicing, but it wasn't for no reason. I think there were literally only maybe 3 spicy scenes, and every single one of them was intentional, and they were done so well and at the perfect moment, and their chemistry was 100,000%. And I mean, it does take a long time. It's also a slow burn, so we're building up to the realization that you have feelings for one another. And I don't want to give too much away, but this book does also talk about grief for both of the characters. There's definitely a lot of like, you know, there's fat shaming. I'm just gonna say it in this book in a way that's actually disgusting, and I just don't believe that the character still in my heart, even after what he did do at the end of the story, I just didn't feel like he was really redeemable. I just did not like him like at all. And then we also have a friend group. So I really enjoyed this coming off of the Skyland series by Kennedy Ryan, because I believe there's going to be 3 books. It's 3 friends, and so it's kind of like the same type of outline, and I loved that. So the next book just came out last week Tuesday, and it's called Plus Size Players. So I will definitely be adding that to my summer TBR, because I loved this writing. The writing was really easy to get through, very fast, like Kennedy Ryan. And I gave this one, I don't know if it's a 4 or a 4.5. I'm still stuck between, but we'll just leave it like 4.25. I don't normally do that, but we'll just say 4.25. This one was really, really good. Now, during this whole new to me, old to you, I am going to go ahead and finally pick up All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. This is old to y'all, new to me. I have never read anything by him, and when I was at the book retreat, multiple people recommended his book Razor Blade Tears, which I don't have that one, but I do have this one. So, and it has the little sticker on it. I don't know why I'm so lucky, but look, watch me take it off. Look at that. It was that simple. A black sheriff, a serial killer, a small town ready to combust. This is supposed to be really, really good, and I will do my best to actually keep you guys posted while I'm reading it. But wait a minute, be real quick. I was actually LOLing in real life. I was actually LOLing in real life. So yeah, if you're looking for funny, here we go. We're gonna get into series. I haven't read a thriller in a long time, and like not Finley Donovan, because Finley Donovan is like funny, humorous, goofy. I'm talking about like something that's gonna make me like Criminal Minds. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the gym, take this with me. I'll update you guys as soon as I remember. Good morning, you guys. Quick update. You're gonna hear trolls in the background because someone decided to wake up super duper early, and I am not prepared for that right now. Update. I made it to page 38 in All the Sinners Bleed. I didn't really read at the gym yesterday, but last night when the kids went to bed, I really got into it, and I had to look up if this county was real, because it said the Newport News Shipyard. I live in Hampton, and I was like, is this a real place? It's not. It's made up. So I definitely was like, hold on. And within the first like 20 pages, he is setting the scene. He is getting you to where you need to go immediately. Immediately. If my eyes weren't throwing up gang signs last night, I would have definitely made it like another 30 pages, but I was so exhausted because it was my first day back at the gym and in a cut. And yeah, cutting calories, being back in the gym, very, very tired. But anyways, I'm going to read this while my little friend here, who decided to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, watches trolls, and I try and wake up with this cup of coffee. This combo here is really, really good. It's Busy Cold Brew. I don't know if they're newer or if we're just getting them in our area, but I like that. And then I measure out when I'm cutting my creamer. I don't just pour it and free ball it. So I use 3 tablespoons of creamer for, I have 1 cup of coffee a day. So it's not like I'm gonna do this 2 times. But that's essentially like going to Starbucks. It's trolls, you know, when they're running. So essentially, It's the same thing as getting like a vanilla sweet cream or whatever, because they're like 100, 110 calories, just for those of you who are coffee drinkers, because this is going to add up to 105 calories. So it's literally the exact same thing, but at home. So I will catch you guys up. I'm going to find a bookmark because I can't believe I remember what page I was on, and see how it goes. So far, I'm really loving his writing. Okay, we're in a new location, and you guys have never been in this part of my house, but this is my homeschool room, and it's currently like empty. And like, if you saw the other side of the table, like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do like a POV. So you guys are seeing me recording, and I'm also gonna record this on my phone so you can see. You can hear my kids too. They're back there fighting and doing whatever, but yeah, so everything is a mess in here, but I wanted to come in here because there's better light. So I did read this morning and get to page 53, chapter 5, and this is written impeccably well. I don't know if like I said that already so far while talking about this, but it is written so good. And you know what? It reminds me of another author, and I believe he wrote the book. I think it's And There He Kept Her. I will put the picture of the book here, but the way that it's written reminds me of that, but better. And it's really interesting to see the dynamic in a town that is built and racism is like embedded into the county, and the decisions that are being made while the events are taking place, and all of the characters and how they behave, and how people are also interacting from both sides towards the sheriff, who is a black man. And it's like, one side, he's the enemy just because he is the enemy, and the other side is, we want you in a place of position, but now that you have the place of position, now you are the enemy and we can't trust you, even though they wanted to vote for him, to put him there, to entrust him. It's just a double-edged sword. But yeah, it's very interesting. We really haven't gotten into what's going on. We're building up into what is actually transpired in the very, like, only the second chapter of the book. So that's where I'm at with that, and I plan on getting into this. And if I don't touch bases at all anymore, it's because I'm probably going to end up binge reading this in a minute. My husband and I are leaving with the kids, but if I don't, you will know how I feel about it at the end, because I'm about here, and I anticipate myself being able to get through this fairly easy just because the way that it's written. Not only that, the book is only 338 pages long, and I'm on page 53. So I will touch bases with you guys soon. Aren't it cute? No? Okay. I cannot believe I waited so long to read this book. I don't know what I thought. I don't know if it's the cover or something. It kind of reminded me of like the older school books that you like see in the grocery store. Something about it was doing that, and it was like turning me off from reading the book. And I'm so upset. I am so upset that I judged this book, because this was easily 5 out of 5 stars. And the only other author, I think there's only been like maybe 2 books that are thrillers that I've ever rated 5 stars, and that is Verity by Colleen Hoover and The Only One Left by Riley Sager. And this book surpassed my expectations. Now, we are following a sheriff in a fake town, which, by the way, I thought when I started reading it that it was real. It made me look it up. I started looking up to see if Charon County was a real place. When it started mentioning Newport News, there's a point where he mentions Gloucester, Hampton, the shipyard, all of these things. And if you are local to Hampton Roads, Virginia, then you know, like, that is the area. And I was like second guessing it multiple times. And in fact, my husband started this on audiobook today, and he was like, is this a real place? That's how believable and how descriptive that he was, that it makes you feel like, have I been there? Do I live next to this county? Like, what's going on? But yeah, so anyway, it does feature a black sheriff, and his name is Titus Crown, and he is an ex-FBI agent, and he is back in his hometown, and he has been voted in as the new sheriff. Now, this comes with a lot of baggage. Being a black man placed into this position where white men have dominated and ruled it through its entirety. So he is facing backlash and criticism from not only the white community, but the black community as well. And they are pinned against each other, and they are deep rooted in racism and oppression and all of those things. These are facing this county. It is a part of their heritage. It is what this county is built upon. And he's trying to take a step to provide a neutrality and fairness to the community that they have never ever experienced. But it is still met with opposition from both ends of the spectrum. So that was a very, very interesting aspect of it. Just talking about segregation, talking about different horrific events that, you know, this county has experienced over time, and almost feeling as if this county is cursed. And you find Titus trying to catch a serial killer in this town who was not working alone. You have 3 people who are working together as a serial killing team. And that's basically what the whole book is about, without me diving deeper into what is happening. But you will see what happens when you're faced with overzealous religion, with colorism, and what it means to not feel like yourself in your own skin. Okay, so I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. It is amazing. It was so easy to get through. And then there was this place in the book, and I think it might have been like chapter 17, where it really snapped for me, and I was like, I cannot put this down. I did not want to put this down, and I like needed to finish cleaning the classroom, so I did switch over to audiobook, which was even better. Even better. I just didn't know how it could get even better, and it did. And I loved every moment of it. This is one of those books that you're gonna wish that you could reread for the first time, but if you do go on and reread it, I'm sure you'll be able to catch so much more. And I can't wait to hear what my husband has to say about it, because it's very good. And I always find, and I will try to say this the right way, and I don't like want this to come off as offensive to anyone, but I always find that thrillers written by men have a different tone to them, especially when it's like a psychological criminal thriller. And like I said, And There He Kept Her was very similar to this. It felt like I was watching some type of movie. I told my husband like Denzel was about to pop out and be the sheriff or something. I don't know. But if you have experienced that, like a difference when you dive into a thriller written by a man, tell me what have you experienced by reading books written by them? Because they seem like they add so many intricate details, and it's a lot more character driven than plot driven for most of the story. That's what I've personally experienced. So if you have any other good ones that are like this, let me know. Recommend them down in the comments, because when I went to my book retreat, they were talking about razor blade tears, and so I was like, I have all the sinners bleed. They were like hyping it up, so I was like, let me get to this one. So I did, and like I said, 5 out of 5. So happy to start reading you. First time, you are perfection. Now I'm gonna go hang out with my husband, and I'm trying to decide which book I'm going to go ahead and start next. I have both of these here, Brooklyn by Tracy Brown and Problematic Summer Romance. I have been told that this one is going to make me cry. I haven't cried in a while while reading a book, so I am prepared to do that if I have to. And Problematic Summer Romance, everyone hypes Ali Hazelwood up. I have never ever picked up one of her books, and I did discover that this is book 2 in a series, and I hope I don't need to read book 1, but I've been seeing some mixed reviews on this one, so we'll see. It is age gap. It's not my favorite. I always find it weird, but it's summery. It's very summery, so I have to let you guys know what my opinion is on this one. Look how cute the cover is though. It's super cute. So I'm gonna hang out with him, and then I'm gonna decide which one I'm going to read. Like, the font sizes are definitely the same, But even though they're like the same and they're almost the same thickness, this one is only 300 pages and this one is almost 400 pages. We're gonna figure out what we're gonna do. But other than that, 5 stars for my boy. Okay, so I did decide on what book I was gonna read next. And also I did a wash and go, and I don't normally do these. I'm usually always in braid outs, and I'm here for it. I'm here for the wash and go. But anyways, I digress. Problematic summer romance. So I did pick it up last night. The only thing was, I think I was just so exhausted after such a high of reading All the Sinners Bleed that I don't remember anything that I read. I don't remember anything. So I'm actually going to give this a solid chance by starting all the way over from page 1. So I'm gonna start this over tonight, and my husband's actually reading All the Sinners Bleed because he saw my reaction and he's almost done with it. Y'all, he's not a reader, and I'm not quite sure if we can say that anymore. I don't think we can say that anymore. I think he's a reader. He's a reader. He's read like 5 or 6 books this year. This is I've been with him for almost 20 years and I've never seen him read. I don't know what's going on this year, but anyways, so after that, it was so good, so amazing. I stand on that. I'm gonna go ahead and start this one over, and also I'm drinking a Paloma. It's kind of like a grapefruit margarita. That's how essentially I see it. It's still tequila, it's grapefruit, and it's like club soda. It's very simple, and like if you're in a caloric deficit, it's great. This is like, I think like 110 calories or something. Club soda is nothing. I did get Paloma mix instead of making my own, and then the tequila I got was like 80 calories per serving. So cheers. This might be my summer. This might be a little summer drink. But aside from that, I also like making what I like to call a spritz-a-root. It's not an Ariel spritz or like that Italian spritz. It's a little bit different. It is white wine, but it's with the San Pellegrino, and to keep it in my caloric deficit, I mix it with the San Pellegrino 0 sugar. So it's literally just that, the whatever flavor you want, and then white wine. So that's my summer drink of choice. But anyways, I'm gonna get into reading, and I'm gonna update you guys on how I feel about Miss Ali Hazelwood, because you guys are always hyping her up. You guys are always buying her books. They're everywhere. The covers are very vibrant and they're always calling to me, but there was always something there that I wasn't sure of. Am I going to like Ali Hazelwood? We will see. I'm going to read out here with the lightning bugs and the cicadas. We're just going to have a good time. As it's officially been almost 2 weeks since I started filming this new author vlog, and I am still reading Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood, but this is actually a good update. I was not expecting this, and I am thoroughly enjoying the way that she writes. I am not bothered by the trope in this at all. In fact, the way she wrote it doesn't even make it feel like the age gap is that huge. It's really the other people around her that are making it like feel that way. We are following Maya and Connor, and they have like actually a full family dynamic, which is the weird part because Connor is her brother's best friend. They all run a business together, and another person in that like 4 people business group, they dated together, and now it's like there's a lot of interesting dynamics and things that go on with Maya that cause her and Connor to become close during a period of time. And I'm actually, like I said, I'm actually enjoying it. I'm not saying that this is like a 5-star banger, but this definitely feels like summer. It's set in Italy, and if you know me personally, or if you've ever like watched me on my Instagram stories, and if you don't follow me on Instagram, that's always linked down below. But I always talk about the fact that my dream vacation is to spend time in Italy. And when I say spend time, I mean like a minimum of 2 weeks. I would really like to be there for like 30 days. You know, like one day, if we could swing it and afford it, I would love to be there and live amongst the people. Like not even sightsee. Like I want to have a house, and I want to go down to the market, and I want to go get all the fresh fruits and vegetables and drink red wine outside and dine with family style dinners and just enjoy everything that Italy is. So that is my dream one day, and I had no idea that this book was set in Italy, so that might have like piqued my interest in it more, but it feels like it. Like they're drinking Italian drinks, and like I said, they're having these large meals and conversations, and they are sightseeing, and you know, the main male character speaks Italian, and it just feels good. And I believe Ali Hazelwood, because since I've never read any of her books, I did actually go and read about the author first, and she's from Italy, so I feel like what she's writing is going to be really genuine and firsthand experience, and I'm trusting what she's writing here. So that is an update. I'm going to try, I'm only on page 160. I'm going to attempt to finish this by tomorrow morning, because I want to read my next and final book so I can get this vlog out on time for you guys, because this is going to be a side note, but like for a week and a half I did not post anything, and that's because I just really need to take a mental health break. I am a perfectionist, and I'm a person who likes instant gratification, so the process of building like connections and social media platforms sometimes for me can feel like I'm failing if I'm not like going from 0 to 100 real quick. And so I had to take a break, like regroup, make sure that I'm not just focused on gaining like numbers and gaining actual connections over that. So if you ever see me on here taking a break, it's because I need to check my goals and my reasoning for doing things and pause and take time with my family, and I'll always be like that. So that's a little side note. I always do update, like I said, on Instagram when I am going to take a break or a pause if people are expecting something from me. And then also, like, I dropped my phone camera, so I like to film like with the facing camera, and the lens on this camera is a super wide angle lens, so if I flip it to film content, my head looks super elongated because it's a wide angle lens and it's turning this way and it's making everything look funky. So I haven't been doing any short form content either, but anyways, that's a whole nother thing. My special bookmark that my baby made me with her little potato people. Can you guys see it? There they are, potato people. But yeah, I'm on chapter 18. I'm gonna read, and then I'll update you guys again when I actually finish the book. It is officially the next day, and I did finish Problematic Summer Romance, and I liked Ali Hazelwood's writing, the flow of her writing. I liked the setting. I liked the flashbacks that we got of their relationship beforehand. Also, my kids just woke up, so you might hear them in the background, but there was something that as the story continued that just really turned me off. Oh, I have like sleep in my eye, y'all. I really just woke up to do this. There was something that like throughout the progression of the romantic story that I did not like about the female main character's dialogue. It became very juvenile over time, and then the male character just went from being completely emotionally unavailable to obsessed in the last like 30 pages. So that's all we got of him actually expressing his love to her. But it was set in Italy, and that was a vibe. And I don't know, I'm not saying that I'll never read anything else by Ali Hazelwood. It's just not on the top of my list. I just did not like the dynamics of the relationship. It felt very like, do you actually like each other? Or I'm not understanding where we're going with that, like, at all. So I will be giving this a 3-star. A 3-star doesn't mean it's bad. 3 stars is still good. It's just not like at the top of my list of books that I've read this year. It feels very summery, like I said, with the whole thing about it being set in Italy, but there's just so many other things that I could say but I don't want to like spoil it for you guys. But there were just like some moments where I felt like she made the FMC feel like desperate. And then there was this older man. It was exactly what he kept lecturing her about. I don't know. I don't know. If there's one better than this, recommend it to me so I can give Ali Hazelwood another try. Like I said, I liked her writing, but there was something about the flow of the relationship that just did not progress properly. I don't know. So that is Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. I'm giving it 3 out of 5 stars, maybe like a 3.25. And that's that. So the final book that I'm going to be reading in this video is Brooklyn. I've been meaning to get to Brooklyn for the past couple months. And I don't know, it just wasn't the time for it. So I am going to start digging into this today. And it's actually fairly short. It's only 300 pages. Wait a minute. And that's another thing about the Ali Hazelwood book is it was 400 pages for no reason. For no reason. Like 350 max. Like I stayed up trying to finish that book and it was putting me to sleep the last like 20 pages. I was like, why is this taking so long? Anyways, I'm gonna start this today. I actually might switch over to audiobook so I can get some like gardening stuff done and whatnot, because all my kids are going to VBS, but one of my toddlers came back sick, so she's not going on the last day. So I have both the toddlers and my teen here, so we got to get some stuff done around here and hang out. So I might switch over to audiobook. So once I dig into this, because I'm not gonna do that right now, because like I said, I gotta get them dressed and ready to go. Once I start this, I will let you guys know how I'm feeling about it. Someone told me I was gonna cry, so I haven't cried at all during this video. I don't think. I don't remember. But anyways, okay, I digress. I need to go eat breakfast and take my kids to VBS and go be a mom, and then I will check in with you guys. Okay, bye. I just finished Brooklyn and I decided to switch over to audiobook because I had lots of work to do today, and I finished it today in about 5 hours. I don't know why I took so long to read this book. I know I say this like all the time about like certain popular books, but if there's one book that you want to keep you on your toes from start to finish, it's this here, Brooklyn. And I'm easily going to give this a 4.5. Not quite 5, but I'm definitely giving this a 4.5 stars. And I will be recommending this to everyone that I come into contact with. I mean, what did I just... What? Like, I want you to imagine that the movie 13 and the show Power had a baby and they made Brooklyn. Okay? Like, let's get into this real quick. So you have Brooklyn, who I can't remember how old she is at the very beginning of the book. I can't. But she's a teen and she experiences a sexual assault, okay? And this sexual assault triggers the rest of the events that happen in her life, and not in a good way. So there might be a few spoilers in here, not too many. If you already got what you wanted, which was the rating, then go ahead and skip over this. But her assault is not dealt with properly, and her own mother tries to cover it up because it's a family friend. And from that point on, she no longer trusts her mother, which creates this whole dynamic. And her mother is mad, and you can tell that it's like because it's a family friend. And I don't think the mom liked her in the first place. I don't know what it was about her, but the mother did not like her. Okay, I had to go help a kid real quick. But yeah, so the mom like doesn't really like her in the beginning. The father loves his children. He's a pastor. And we see that with unresolved trauma that Brooklyn starts to make these choices, taking her to a path where I like to call where the predator wins. And this is something that I like to talk about as someone who has experienced sexual assault from family members. Like, I mean, like that is me, that is my story, it is my truth. And so I know that it is hard to not let them win. And hopefully that's not coming across in a certain way, but like you can go into destructive patterns and habits and like integrating that into who you are. And that is essentially what our girl Brooklyn goes through. Nobody protected her, nobody talked with her, and they just swept it under the rug. And it's like, okay, well, you don't believe me, you didn't save me, you didn't protect me, and even when I came and I told you, nothing was done. And she starts to find love and people who hold space for her in the wrong crowd, and it slowly begins to progress over this course of time where she actually becomes a master manipulator. She becomes a gaslighter. She starts meeting people, using people, I mean, burning bridges left and right. Y'all, I was like, literally, if you follow me on Goodreads, then you would have seen me post, good God, how did we get here? There was a point where I was only like 53% of the book, and I was like, what? And then it just all of a sudden starts hitting in rapid succession. And then you see like her Scarface moment where all of a sudden these things start to be on the fast roller coaster decline. And you're like, oh, well, you're done for. Like everything is crashing and burning. You're losing everything because of your inability to be content with something. And I'm mad in a good way, by the way. Okay, that's why I gave it a 4.5. But then you see the conniving behavior just come to a head at the very end, like the last 20, 30 pages or so. I mean, like on audio, it was literally within the last like 10 minutes. And she is who she is. She has become a literal monster. Literal monster. And I just can't believe the things that she did, the choices that she made, every single person that she betrayed. And to me, I'm like, could this all have been stopped if from the very beginning her parents did something about what she told them? This could have changed everything. Maybe it wouldn't have though. Maybe it wouldn't have. Maybe Brooklyn was gonna be who Brooklyn was, but I wanna believe that if it wasn't for those parents, she would have been okay. So I'm going to sit on this because I just got done barbecuing for my kids. And I'm gonna shower. Brooklyn made me want a glass of wine, okay? She stressed me the hell out, but like, in a good way. Like, I could see this being like, have you seen, what's that movie, Requiem for a Dream? I don't know if I'm saying it right, but there is like a progression of how like they start and how like crazy drastic. That movie's very graphic, by the way. That's for adults only. How they all end up. I could see this being a movie. Like, rest in peace to Tracy Brown. Rest in peace to her. And I am so sad that we lost someone who was able to write such an amazing story. And I'm so glad that I waited to read it when I was able to process it and really enjoy it. And I honestly think this is something my husband is gonna like. I recommended it to him, and I'm gonna see what he thinks about it. And yeah, like, I definitely will read more of her things. But anyway, you know what, guys? Let me shower. Let me get a glass of wine. Let me make my spritzeroo. If you didn't watch my last video, then you don't know what a spritzeroo is. But shower, do that, blah, 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 blah. And then we're gonna come together and we're gonna talk about the 4 authors that I read for the first time. All right, I showered. I had my spritz. And now I'm ready to talk about these 4 books here. I never ever read any of these authors before this, and the first book that I started with was Curvy Girl Summer. This book, Summer in the title, is definitely perfect for summer. I could see this being a quick and easy read if you're on vacation, if you're going to the beach, poolside, anything like that. I could definitely see you guys enjoying this book here. I did end up giving this book a 4.25 stars. I don't usually give like 2 5s and 7 5s, but I felt like this warranted it. It wasn't necessarily like a 4.5 or 5-star for me personally, but I thought that Danielle Allen's writing was smooth. It reminded me a lot of Kennedy Ryan. It didn't necessarily have the same depth that I get out of a Kennedy Ryan book, but the way that the plot flowed felt very similar to me. So if you like her writing, you will definitely enjoy this. And also, this is a part of a series that has friends, like the Skyline series. So I mentioned that in my video before. If you're already missing the Skyline ladies, you will definitely want to dive into this one. Her newest release, Plus Size Player, just came out a few weeks ago, and I'll be adding that to my summer TBR. I want to read that before the summer is over for sure. I don't know if I'll get to it in July. It might be August, but definitely going to be adding her to some of the authors that I automatically buy easily off of this one read. The next book that I finished was All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. With this one, I actually read, I think it was like 75% of it here, and then I listened to the last 25% of it because as mom, I have lots of things to do, and I really was into this. And honestly, I want to go back and listen to the entire book on audiobook because it was an experience. Just listening to the dialect and hearing everyone speak and communicate, and I just felt so immersed in it. And if you are a fan of Criminal Minds, you will really enjoy this book. I don't know what took me so long. Did I say Crosby? I keep saying Crosby. It's Cosby. I told my husband how good this book was to me, and he listened to it, and he's listening to it again because it was that good to him. I was at a book retreat, and at the book retreat, a lot of people were talking about his book, Razor Blade Tears, and I think that's going to be the next book that I go ahead and pick up from him. And it takes place in Virginia. I currently live in Virginia because my husband's in the military, and this is where we are right now. And I just felt so immersed in the story when he was naming the different cities and the different locations, like the shipyard and everything. It just felt so close to home. I felt myself thinking that Sharon County was real. I was researching to make sure that it wasn't. And this was my first 5-star thriller in a really, really long time. And I just don't know. It was just, it's so different. It's not like the fake-ish thrillers, like you're reading it and you know it's not real. Like, the thing that got me about this is it felt so real. Like, I thought that this could be a real story, and he did a great job with this book. So again, this was 5 out of 5 stars. Definitely going to continue to read books by S.A. Cosby. Cosby, y'all. Cosby. S.A. Cosby. Okay, the next book that I dived into was Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. She is everywhere. She's popping out books like every couple months. And her covers, I'm always like, should I get it? And I never really did. And this one was iffy for me. I really enjoyed the way that her writing flowed. Once again, it was like butter. It was very easy to read. Once I really like honed in on the story, I could not stop reading it. But there was a lot in the actual storytelling that was just missing. The way the characters developed over time just didn't really do it for me. I felt like as the story progressed, the characters regressed. And it was like Connor was cool in the beginning. Connor just started to feel to me like boring. Like at first it was cool, and then just something wasn't clicking, and it was like he was lecturing her all the time, but then he was performing sexual acts on her, but then was saying, no, we can, and we can't be together. And then she was like, she went from being like a 23-year-old to sounding like she was like a 16, 17-year-old to me, honestly. And it didn't make any sense because she sounded really mature. She's supposed to be this super smart person, and it just sounded like she was begging. And I was like, why are we begging him? And also, like, starts out being 35. In the present day, he's 38, and we're calling him geriatric. Like, not like I'm 34. And I'm confused because I'm in my prime. Like, I feel better in my 30s than I ever did in my 20s, even in my teens. And it just didn't make any sense. It wasn't connecting for me. And there was nothing like, I don't know. The setting was perfect though. The setting was perfect. There were way too many characters. I was like, who's this? What's going on? But the setting was perfect. The first like 60 to 75% of the book was great. And then when we got to the last quarter of the book, it just wasn't tying in. It started to feel dragged out. We could have deleted 50 pages of the book. And I don't know, it was to me like 3 stars. It definitely felt like summer. Her writing was actually good, but her execution of the characters and the ending of this book really fell short for me. I'm not writing her off as an author, but I'm not like in a rush to pick up something else from her. If you guys love something from her, I will definitely take your recommendations and add them to a future TBR and try her out again because she can write. But yeah, it's summery, it's fast, it is what it is. It's not the worst book that I've ever read. So, and then last but not least, I also finished Brooklyn today, the same day that I actually finished Problematic Summer Romance, and I ate this book up. I read this book or listened to this book in about 5 hours, I want to say, while doing all the tasks that I had to do today. And I did actually pick it up and read it as well. I will tell you the audiobook is slow as hell. You can put it on 2.5, 3, and you'll be fine, and you can comprehend everything that they're saying. You can read this book probably faster than the audiobook. But I loved the accents that I got in the book because it was giving everybody's New York accent. And if you follow me on Goodreads, and if you don't, it's always linked down in the description box below. I felt like this book was giving me the movie 13 and the show Power, and they had a baby, and then they made Brooklyn. Brooklyn became a narcissist based on her circumstances and gaslighted everyone in her life, burned every bridge, and became an opportunist. And I really truly believe in my heart that could have been stopped if when she was assaulted, that her experience was handled completely differently. You know, it reminded me of the book Grown. I'm gonna put it right here. It reminded me a lot of the book Grown, but more in depth. It takes it all the way into adulthood, not just how it affects you. One of my babies keeps screaming. I don't remember what I was just saying. She's supposed to be asleep. Her daddy's in there patting her back now, but what was I saying? Anyways, I don't remember what I was saying, but y'all remember what I'm saying because you're gonna see the footage, and I'm gonna see the footage and be like, dang, how did you forget what you were saying? But anyways, yeah, I just felt like Brooklyn was searching for the love and the healing that she needed from her parents when she went through what she went through in other people. And once she got in a certain lane, she drove it all the way fast like a NASCAR. She kept on doing it. And when we got to the very end of the book, because we know from the very beginning, you will know that she's dead. When we get to the very end of the book and she has the ability to have a redemption arc, and who she has become, the darkness in her heart, the blackness in her heart, and she is openly trying to continue to manipulate all the people around her. I don't know, I was flabbergasted. I started cleaning my porch. I went and got spray. I started cleaning I didn't know what to do with myself because I couldn't stop listening to the train wreck that happened in the span of Brooklyn's life. I think it starts in 1995. I don't remember what year it starts. 1995, and then it ends in 2003. This takes place in 8 years, under 300 pages, or it's like 303, something like that. And it keeps you going. It doesn't have enough recognition. I ask that you take your time to read this, give your honest review, go on Goodreads, rate it, review it, recommend it to your friends and family, because I thought that this was amazing and I would love to dig into some of her backlist. And once again, you know, rest in peace to Tracy Brown. And this was the last book that she wrote before she passed away. All in all, this video, I think that I had a great experience. I will definitely be reading more books that they put out for sure. And I want to get into some of his backlist, okay? I really do. And when it comes to Ali Hazelwood, it's not like a no, but it's not a rush. It's not like a pub day, I'm gonna go buy it right now or whatever. It's, you know, if the mood arises, I'll definitely pick up one of her books. And when it comes to Tracy Brown, I will be definitely finding some time to read her backlist. And, you know, it's unfortunate that we won't get any new works from her, but I highly recommend it. I really do. I had a good time. It was like definitely one of those, like, it's like a palate cleanser. That's how I feel about this. It was a palate cleanser and I feel like I want to read. I feel like that made me not feel like the reading slump that I've been feeling for months now. I feel like I want to read. I started looking like, okay, what I got over here that I can read? That's how I felt. But anyways, I can talk to you guys all night. These are the 4 books. New to me, old to you. And until next time, happy reading.